I live in a red brick house in Leicester, in the city centre. It's quite near a park. It's surprisingly quiet. I don't really have a workshop or studio. I sometimes work in the kitchen. Lots of stuff goes on the table. It's kind of cottage industry, really. I also have a workspace where I can do more dirty work. Here are a few of my instruments. I've gravitated towards these instruments that are made from nails and screws, wire wrapping techniques and bits of wood. It's more than a method, really. Could say it reflects a deeper philosophy. First of all, there are pedagogical advantages. You can apply a schematic easily using this sort of point-to-point construction. Each nail represents a pin or a leg of an integrated circuit, an IC, and then you can easily connect components between the pins of the IC. The materials are also readily available. Most people can get hold of some nails, offcuts of bits of wood. I've always been interested in the broader aspects of access in music and the arts. This is big electronics. It's more craft than engineering. These instruments also take on sculptural properties. The wires can have different forms and the bits of wood can be cut to different sizes. There's also this idea of open circuitry, where you can hack and modify the circuit, particularly using crocodile clips. Lots of things can be added, such as these clickers. These are made from a relay, a capacitor and a battery. The capacitor dictates how the relay switches on and off, and thus the frequency of the oscillator. They have acoustic properties. Here's one with a smaller capacitor. It can also create a control voltage. This is a rectifier and regulator built with similar wire and nail techniques. I can also create control voltages by turning the shaft of a motor. I've built a few other instruments using the nail and wire technique. Here's the bed of nails. This is a feedback instrument built using a dual op amp. You touch the nails to play the instrument. And here is a wind instrument. You have to blow into this water turbine that I made with Japanese sound artist Kanta Horio. You can also play it with crocodile clicks.
This is a place where I stay, and it has like a very huge compound. So I have a lot of space. This is where like I do my videos, my recording. So we really have a lot of space around. Like what pays my bills mainly is hiring PA systems and all that. So those are like the racks with amplifiers and stuff like that. So I have like speakers, backlight, like drums, instruments. So it's stuff kept all over. Like some of these are like the speakers which need cleaning, then snare drum. Then this is like a store where I have some of my tools. That's a jigsaw. And these are resistors. Yeah. Then a lot of stuff. There are spanners and some more speakers there. Some stuff which needs repair. Then some cymbals for drums. Yeah. So I'm quite. This is my drill, and this is my wife's oven for baking. She does baking, pastries and stuff like that. So I have a lot of space, really. Some of this stuff is equipment which has been brought to me by clients for repair. Some of it is my work which is not yet finished. Like this is this is a MIDI controller I was working on some time back. I did a video on it, but I didn't get to finish it, and now it has picked up dust. Yeah, these are the guts inside. I think I got some of the things out. Yeah, so I technically work from home. If that counts for a workshop, then yeah. My modular synth is here, by the way. let me see. These panels are from like I realized that like discarded computer cases, you know, they have like this very nice polished metal. So all of these are cut from like the sides of discarded computer casings. I think I had one here. Let me see if I can find it very quickly. Yeah. So I think I cut already like some panels from this. So like this other side down, down like here. Yeah, this would make a nice panel. I didn't want to make them out of like cardboard like the other guy. I wanted them to be a little bit sturdier than, you know, so that they can move and everything. Yeah, so that's why I make them from like that kind of material. So, and also maybe my modular synthesizer was not like this if you watched my very first videos, because it was quite cumbersome to like transport and everything, especially when people started inviting me to like perform here and there, you know, because in the first videos it was like stacks of, you know, like rows, and it was not like in a case and everything. So I thought of like putting it in a case. It's made out of like plywood, so it's like a briefcase. You can, you know, close and has latches in the side. And then after I've closed it, I can just lift it and I carry it. And it's quite, yeah, it's quite portable.
I mean, how would you describe your music? I think I read somewhere someone called it slightly wonky techno. How would you describe it?
Okay, like I'm still defining what I should be able to make out of the modular synth, because there are different schools of thought. There are those people who, you know, make generative music out of it, and they make patches and they allow them to just give me a minute. Someone was singing from around here. Yo mushiwe inondo kugamba nawo orino eshongola. Okay, so like I said, there are different like approaches to the modular synth. There are those who patch the different parts of the modular and then it creates its own thing, its own creation, its own sounds or music, if you call that music. And then there are those who deliberate about what they want to create in terms of, for example, using it as an instrument, as a dance instrument, techno and all that. So for the first time when I was starting out, of course, my influences were techno, because that's like, I think the natural, like that's the natural language of the modular synth, if I could say. Like if you patch a sequence, you know, if you use like a sequencer, let's say the bit step or whatever, 4/4, you know, with a 4/4 pattern to the modular synth and put in beats and all that, you're most likely to create techno music, you know. So, and most of the people that I was following or who inspired me to like start making music on this were all, you know, Western people who were into like techno and that kind of stuff. So when I started out as that's the kind of music that I was trying to create. But as time went on, I realized it would be more fruitful on my side to actually make it part of, to make it relevant from where I'm coming from. I need to like incorporate a lot of like African traditional music. So that's the direction I'm taking for like the past 2 years. I'm trying to create music that represents where I come from, but it's like trying to make African music but like, what would African or traditional music sound like if it was played on a modular synthesizer? You know, because techno and all kinds of beats have been made on this already, and people have heard that, and so what would a modular synthesizer sound like in the context of like African traditional music? Yeah, I think that better describes what I'm trying to achieve with it now.
Interesting that not only the making, but trying to find identity in the technology, your self-identity, I suppose. And I mean, in the center of your modular is a sequencer, and you're right, that gives a certain characteristic to all of the music. If it's a step sequencer, which you have there, or tell me a little bit about the sequencer you currently use.
Okay, I started out at first. I started out with the beat step. Once in a while, I still use the beat step pro, but then eventually I started reading like a lot more about like the traditional African rhythms and how they're created, So I started reading about the Euclidean sequences, and a lot of traditional African music is based on like those polyrhythms, like rhythms which interplay with each other. So that's how I made this. It's supposed to have an Arduino right here, but then these are like I think these are 12. These are like 12 steps. I think these are 12 steps. Yeah. So this sequence are like, I strictly made it to like create African rhythms, African polyrhythms. So that's like if I'm performing and I need to create African rhythms, I don't have to think about it in the moment, and like whatever I dial in here is going to sound like an African rhythm of some sort. So this is based on the 12/8, I think 12/8 time signature, which is found in a lot of African music, traditional African music. Yeah, but I made this eventually after I'd made these, and I discovered their limitations. It's just eight step sequencer. I don't know how they call it. Is it a baby 8-step sequencer or something like that? It's one of like the popular DIY circuits for beginners. So I made this, but I quickly realized its limitations in terms of what I wanted to do, especially in traditional rhythms and all that. So that's when I started thinking of stuff like this.